"You have to stand up," I said in Bill's ear. "You just have to. I know it hurts, but I cannot carry you. At least, I didn't think I could. There's a big Lincoln outside, and the trunk is open. I'm putting you in the trunk, wrapped in this blanket, and we're driving out of here. Understand, babe?" Bill's dark head moved a fraction of an inch. Right then our luck ran out. "Who the hell are you?" asked a heavily accented voice. Someone had come through the door at my back. Bill flinched under my hands. I whirled to face her, dipping to pick up the steak as I did so, and then she was on me. I had talked myself into believing they were all in their coffins for the day, but this one was doing her best to kill me. I would have been dead in a minute if she hadn't been as shocked as I was. I twisted my arm from her grasp and pivoted around Bill in his chair. Her fangs were all out, and she was snarling at me over Bill's head. She was a blonde, like me, but her eyes were brown and her build was smaller. She was a tiny woman. She had dried blood on her hands, and I knew it was Bill's. A flame started up inside me. I could feel it flicker through my eyes. "You must be the little human bitch whore," she said. "He was fucking me all this time, you understand? The minute he saw me he forgot about you, except for pity." Well, Lorena wasn't elegant, but she knew where to sink the verbal knife. I batted the words aside because she wanted to distract me. I shifted my grip on the stake to be ready, and she leaped across Bill to land on top of me. As she moved, without a conscious decision, I whipped up the stake and pointed it at an angle. As she came down on me, the sharp point went in her chest and out the other side. Then we were on the floor. I was still gripping the end of the stake, and she was holding herself off of me with her arms. She looked down at the wood in her chest, astonished. Then she looked in my eyes, her mouth agape, her fangs retracting. "No," she said. Her eyes went dull. I used the stake to push her to my left side, and I scrambled up off the floor. I was panting and my hands shook violently. Okay, then on the next few slides, she's getting Bill into the truck of the car and getting out of the mansion thing. "Bill," I whispered, thinking it was already maybe too late. With the little strength I had left, I pinched his ear with the fingers of my right hand. "Please listen, Bill." "Oh," he said. His voice sounded rough. His throat was sore. He had stopped taking blood. Now another need was on him, one closely related to feeding. His hands pulled down my sweatpants, and after a lot of fumbling and rearranging and contorting, he entered me with no preparation at all. I screamed, and he clapped a hand over my mouth. I was crying, sobbing, and my nose was all stopped up, and I needed to breathe through my mouth. All restraint left me, and I began fighting like a wildcat. I bit and scratched and kicked, not caring about the air supply, not caring that I would enrage him. I just had to have air. After a few seconds his hand fell away, and he stopped moving. I drew air in with a deep, shuddering gasp. I was crying in earnest, one sob after another. "Sookie?" Bill said uncertainly. "Sookie?" I couldn't answer. "It's you," he said, his voice hoarse and wondering. "It's you. You were really there in that room?" I tried to gather myself, but I felt very fuzzy and I was afraid I was going to faint. Finally I was able to say, "Bill," in a whisper. "It is you. Are you all right?" "No," I said, almost apologetically. After all, it was Bill who'd been held prisoner and tortured. "Did I—" He paused and seemed to brace himself. "Have I taken more blood than I should?" I couldn't answer. I laid my head on his arm. It seemed too much trouble to speak. "I seem to be having sex with you in a closet," Bill said in a subdued voice. "Did you, volunteer?" I turned my head from side to side, then I let loll on his arm again. "Oh no," he whispered, "oh no." He pulled out of me and fumbled around a lot for the second time. He was putting me back to rights, himself too, I guess. His hands patted our surroundings. "Car trunk," he muttered. "I need air," I said in a voice almost too soft to hear. "Why didn't you say so?" Bill punched a hole in the trunk. He was stronger. Good for him. Cold air rushed in, and I sucked it deep. Beautiful, beautiful oxygen. "Where are we?" he asked after a moment. "Parking garage," I gasped. "Apartment building. Jackson." I was so weak. I just wanted to let go and float away. Why? I tried to gather enough energy to answer him. "Orseed lives here," I managed to mutter, eventually. "Orseed who? What are we supposed to do now?" "Eric's coming. Drink the bottled blood. Sookie, are you all right?" I couldn't answer. If I could have, I might have said, "Why do you care? You were going to leave me anyway." I might have said, "I forgive you," though that doesn't seem like real likely. Maybe I would have just told him that I'd missed him and that his secret was still safe with me, faithful unto death. That was Sookie's stackhouse. I heard him open a bottle.